Rest. Let's have a look at rest. There's a tiny little gland in the base of your brain called the pineal gland. In my 1970s anatomy and physiology book, it says there that not much is known about the pineal gland. Well, we know a lot about the pineal gland today. The pineal gland is a very important part of the brain, gland in the brain, because it is responsible for releasing rest and rejuvenate hormones in the night. And the pineal gland will only release these hormones between the hours at the moment of 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. In the winter, and I think we've only got a few more weeks till daylight saving stops, then it will be 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. That's your winter times, because the pineal gland doesn't know about daylight saving. Light and dark signals are fed through the optic nerve to a control centre in the brain where your body clock is located, and your body clock communicates with the pineal gland. So we've got dark happening, I think dark's happening about 7 p.m, would I be right at the moment? And we've got light happening about 6:15. So it's in these hours that are your hours of power. I call them the hours of power because it's in these hours that the pineal gland releases the hormones. Let's have a look at the hormones. One is serotonin, and serotonin is your mood hormone. What are the children like if they have a late night? They're no good, are they? That's because they didn't get their serotonin, and the parents aren't much better. I had a girlfriend who used to go to bed at midnight every night, and her children used to wake in the morning, tiptoe round the kitchen, grab a quick breakfast and try and get out of the house before she woke up, because she used to bite their heads off. She had no serotonin happening. Not a nice way. The kids grow up so quickly, don't they? You want them to have nice memories of home. If you want to feel great every day, all day, go to bed early and get those hours where you'll get your mood hormone. Number 2 is arginine vasotocin. Arginine vasotocin is a hormone that is your natural painkiller. If you are suffering from any type of pain, go to bed early and your natural painkiller will kick in. But it's very important, and I'll make a list here of things you can do to increase the output of these hormones. If you do 1 hour's exercise a day, that can double the output of these hormones at night. And it's very important for your natural painkiller, because your natural painkiller, when it's used by the body, it gives off a waste. And if you exercise the next day, you release the waste. If you don't release the waste, then that next night you won't release the arginine vasotocin. I know a few friends who are managing back pain by exercising every day, which ensures not only that their muscles and their tendons and their ligaments are strengthened to compensate for the injury they have, but it also causes a release of the waste from using their natural painkiller, which means every night their natural painkiller can kick in again. Arginine vasotocin also puts a person into a deep sleep. I know many people who can't sleep, so they go to bed later thinking that they'll get tighter, but the opposite's true. The earlier you go to sleep, the more likely you are to fall into a deep sleep. I had one lady come to me and she said, oh, it drives me crazy. I wake up at 3 o'clock every morning. It just drives me crazy. When I was, it must have been about a year ago, Time magazine did a whole article on sleep. And I was reading it, and it said in there, sleeping tablets don't really do much because they're not fixing the problem and the person doesn't feel great. They're actually showing now that a lot of sleeping tablets are causing other problems. They said there's one thing that helps, and that is cognitive brain therapy, cognitive behavioural therapy. Let me explain, and I'll explain it by using this lady. When this lady heard this lecture and realised that she was getting her hours of power, I said, all you have to do now is when you wake up in the night, it's 3 o'clock, instead of going, oh what am I going to do? Why does this happen? When you wake up at 3 now, you can say, this is fantastic. I've got my hours of power. I'll just doze. I'll just plan my day. That's cognitive behaviour therapy. She just changed the way that she looked at it. And because she changed the way that she looked at it, she actually started to doze back to sleep. It wasn't a deep sleep. But then if you understand your sleeping patterns, you don't have your deep sleep there. You have your deep sleeps here. That's the sleep that's powerful. Number 3 is epithalamin. Epithalamin is a hormone that slows down aging. Everybody over the age of 25 likes that one. So if you want to slow down aging, go to bed early. I was reading about a 116 Russian man, and they were interviewing him as to the secrets of his longevity. And he had a couple of points. He said, I rise with the sun, I go down with the sun. And the other one was, he said, I hold anger with no man. Very important. We'll look at that on Saturday. What's the old saying? Early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise. When that saying was said or made, they didn't know about the pineal gland. It was just observation. Epithalamin not only slows down aging, but it increases learning capacity. We should never be out of school, and we should never stop learning. And on Saturday morning, when I look at how you can make your brain younger with age, you will realise you can never stop learning. If you stop learning, you basically, brain cells start to die. We should never stop learning. So one way to increase our learning capacity is to make sure we get these hours of power. Number 4 is melatonin. And melatonin is your fix and rejuvenate nighttime hormone. So basically when you sleep in those hours, your batteries are fully charged. Many people wake with a groan in the morning, unable to get out of bed or even function without their cup of coffee because they just go to bed too late and they miss out on their hours of power. This is especially important for people who are wanting healing to happen in their body, because this is when the healing powers of the body are the most effective, are the most vibrant, are the most powerful. So these hours of power must be adhered to so that you get more out of your life, more out of your day. They're also very important to be adhered for mental health, for healing in the body. Let's have a look at how you can decrease and how you can increase the output of these hormones. You'll like this one, laughter. The old proverb says, a merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit dries up the bones. My daughter gave me this one. She found it somewhere, a quote. It said, against the onslaught of laughter, nothing can stand. We should laugh more. And on the other hand, worry. The old saying says, worry is blind and cannot discern the future. Doesn't change anything, does it? If you can't sleep because you're worried about something, get up and write a solution. Write a letter or put it down on paper and then go back to bed and sleep. What can also increase the output of these hormones at night is sunshine through the day. Not only sunshine through the day, but sleeping in the dark. Because remember my initial statement was that light and dark signals are fed through the optic nerve. So when we give it a very clear messages of sunny day, dark night, the pineal gland gets nice clear messages. So sleeping in the dark is very important. If someone needs a bit of light in the night, I suggest getting one of those little night lights that you can plug into the power point. That will not interfere with the pineal gland. It's like moonlight. So you want about the light of the moonlight. So sleeping in the dark does it. Also fasting. Because when you fast, and there's very little activity in your gastrointestinal tract, especially in your colon, tryptophan is made. And tryptophan is a key amino acid used in the production of melatonin and serotonin. That's why you sleep so much better when you go to bed with an empty tummy. Let's have a look at what decreases it. Not only worry, but artificial lights. And I'm referring to the screens. So we've got our iPhones, the iPods, computers, televisions. They're very handy tools, and we all use them and have them. But the most dangerous time to use them is in your hours of power. That's the dangerous time to use them. That's one of the biggest contributing factors to mental illness today, is the brain is not being recharged when it should be, but not only not being recharged, it's getting overstimulated from the flashing lights of the screen. That really causes deterioration of brain. See, our brain should not deteriorate. The day before we die, we should be the smartest, the wisest, and the brightest of our whole life. But that's not happening, is it? It's not happening in this society. There are many societies where it is happening. Look at the Hunzas in the Himalayan mountains. They're not considered wise enough to hold positions of responsibility till they're 70. Whoa. They play volleyball, and the under 50s play the over 50s, and they often tie. So I'm not saying get rid of them because we need them. That's unrealistic, and they're very, very handy. Instead of taking 2 or 3 bags of books to the Bronx when I teach, I just take a little computer and it's all in there. Very, very handy. But just make sure that computer is shut off by 9:30 in the summer, by 8:30 in the winter. But I've got an assignment to do. Okay, we'll get up at 4. 4 years ago, I had 1 week to do a 10,000 word thesis for my nutrition course. I did it in 1 week. When did I do it? I went to bed at 8 and I got up at 4. And I had 2 hours of peak study time. And when I read my thesis today, I go, whoa, who wrote that? That's very well said. That's when the brain is sparky. So I say to parents, you've got to monitor this in your home with your teenagers, because I think it's a huge problem today. Many kids are taking their iPhones to bed, under the bed covers, watching videos, SMSing friends. You know what my sister does? Father says, phones please, I'll charge them in my office overnight. It's a good idea. So that those hours of power, the brain and the eyes, are being able to get their rest and rejuvenation. Coffee, or caffeine as a whole, it cuts it in half for 6 hours. Alcohol. Alcohol, 41% reduction in the output of those hormones. So if a person has some red wine before they go to bed, it might put them to sleep, but they will wake with half-charged batteries. It's not worth it. Well, why does the doctor advise it? Because he does it. But the research shows it does not work. Meat. Meat is very high in an amino acid called methionine. And methionine, when its levels are high, it blocks the action of tryptophan. That's why Colin Campbell, he showed in his book a 5% animal protein diet is not dangerous, but a 20% animal protein diet is, and in many ways, and this is another way where it is. Having this information, you can get more out of your day, more out of your life.